Today we're, today we're going to be talking about basic vocabulary when it comes to solid geometry. Solid figures are three-dimensional figures. Okay, so we have been talking basically about area up until now, about flat two-dimensional surfaces. Solid figures are three-dimensional figures. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a prism. A prism has two parallel, and actually they're parallel and congruent, which means they are parallel, they'll never meet even if they extended forever, and they're congruent, meaning that they are the same shape and size. So for instance, over here we have a rectangular prism. We have two rectangles, and a prism is named after the shape of its bases. So we have here a prism which has these faces, okay? A face is just a side. Okay, so this is a face. Okay, so this rectangular prism has six faces. It has a top, a bottom, a back, a front, a right, and a left. So those are six faces. And faces are connected to each other by what we call edges. Okay, so an edge is where two faces meet. This is an edge, this is an edge. You can think of an edge, if you were walking across the top of this prism and you came to the edge, you'd fall off. Okay, so that's what an edge is. An edge is where two faces meet. The next thing that we have is a vertex. And a vertex is just a corner. Okay, so a vertex is a corner where, in this case, three edges are meeting, but it doesn't have to be three. So think of a vertex as just a corner of a figure. Okay, now the whole idea of a prism is a prism has two opposite bases. So in this case, we're going to call the top and the bottom bases, and then all the other faces are going to always be rectangles. So if I had this, see if I can draw it. Let's see. Okay, so I'll kind of pretend that, okay. So this is what we call a triangular prism because the bases, which in this case are going to be the front and the back, and it just depends on how we're holding it. The front and the back are triangles, and you can see that they are connected by rectangles. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is what we call a pyramid. Okay, a pyramid is only one base. So in this case, we have a pyramid. This is the base, okay? And it's named after its base as well. So this is what we're going to call a square pyramid because the base of this square pyramid is a square. Okay? The difference between a prism and a pyramid is a prism has two bases. A pyramid only has one base, and instead of having rectangular faces, a pyramid has triangular faces. And it doesn't matter what the base shape is. A triangular prism, a rectangular, a square prism, all of them are going to have triangular faces because the faces don't meet up with another base on the other side. The faces actually meet at a point or a vertex. And so in order to do that, they must all be triangles.